Okay, so let's get started. Yes, others will join us along the way. Welcome to day 5 of the webinar series, and today we'll be going through two very fundamental concepts in the cloud. One is cloud storage, and the other one is content delivery. We'll do it in two parts. We'll take CloudForest first, and we will talk about it for about 20-25 minutes, then do a demo. Then we can probably have a 5 minutes break. Then we then go on to content delivery and do a demo as well. So if I may ask now that you've had a few days talking about cloud, different concepts in the cloud, when you hear the word cloud, what comes to your mind? Cloud computing. Anybody? Okay, so I'll tell you my own story then. When I started learning about cloud computing, when I heard the word cloud, what when I heard the word cloud computing or cloud storage, what came to my mind was different computers connected to the cloud, like in the cloud in the heaven. And as naive as it might be, but I think that was just me being me, just trying to understand it as as I would. I'm also, because of the fact that I used to use the cloud storage, then OneDrive. And if you know OneDrive, if you've used OneDrive before, you will see it has this cloud, on it. So it felt like, oh, okay, the storage is actually in the cloud. But that doesn't seem to be the case, as you might have noticed in the past few days of having gone through this webinar. It's probably just a server room with a server guy, and you can see, this is like a server room with wires everywhere. But maybe, not this ugly, because this is really, really ugly. We didn't expect, a server room to be like this, or a data center to be like this. So you just have computers in, it could be in a building, in a house. You have these very big companies that have these computers in a building, and then they make it available and for people to access, share. So essentially, that's what it is. It's not that it's not as complicated as we might think it is. If you look at it from the perspective of, if you want to build a house, if you want to build a house, you can either buy a land and you build your house. But for example, if you are traveling from Ghana to Nigeria to visit someone, you don't want to go to Nigeria and buy a plot of land, build a house there because you just want to visit for 2 days. You just want somewhere to stay quickly. And there are some people that they've built houses already, and they use it for rent. So you just go on booking.com or somewhere, you rent apartment for 2 days, spend your 2 days in Nigeria, you're happy, you go back. If you want to extend, you pay more, you extend. So you pay for what you use essentially. But imagine if you have to build a house on a plot of land because you wanted to travel to Nigeria to visit for 2 days, that would be spending a lot of money for just a visit for 2 days. So now looking at cloud storage, it's also having this storage capacity in these data centers. So, but let's take a step back and take it from what we know to what we want to learn today. So if we look at cloud storage, has anybody used any cloud storage application before? I used to use Google Drive. I don't know if you guys, if you have anyone that you've used.
Yes, I've used Google Drive.
Okay, yes. So, it's very similar concept, but in this case, Google Drive is like a personal cloud storage application, but what we'll be talking about today is more or less cloud storage services that have been tailored to developers and businesses. And you use Google Drive, you can already see the advantage of using Google Drive as compared to if you have maybe a USB stick, or if probably in those days, very, very old days where people use floppy disk. You can imagine how less secure your data will be in a USB drive as compared to you having it on a Google Drive. Or if you have it on a USB drive, if you want to access it, you need to connect it to a computer, then go on the computer, access the data in there. But if you have it on Google Drive, you can access it on your laptop. If you have the Google Drive mobile application, you can access it on there. So, these are already, you can begin to see some of the advantages of even having a personal cloud storage. And some of these advantages also translate to the cloud storage you are going to talk about today. So, we talk about what exactly are the benefits. What are the benefits of using cloud storage? You want to reduce costs. If a company, for example, wants to really develop an application and they need particular storage, or it's using a very small storage to just even test the waters and see what exactly what they can do. Instead of going to buy computers this big because they just want to have a simple application, they can take advantage of cloud storage where you just pay for what you use. If you are using very small amount, you pay for that. If you want to go big, then you can then scale up. So these are one of the advantages. This is one of the advantages of cloud storage. It reduces cost a lot. And if you go on, let's say AWS, for example, and you're testing an application, you use a particular cloud storage, and you feel like, okay, you don't need this application anymore, or you want to stop the project, yeah, you can just go on there, delete all the, what you requested for, and you don't need to pay for anything. You don't need to pay for any more services. But if a company had spent a lot of money to purchase servers, on-premise servers, to purchase, cloud storage that they would use for the application they plans to build, and they do not need it anymore, then, I mean, it just becomes like a waste of resources. So one of the benefits is you pay for what you use. And as I mentioned earlier, if you go onto AWS, for example, and you're using a particular cloud storage, it's very easy to scale up. Scale up means that what you need now is, let's say, you need 1 gigabyte. So, okay, you take your data, you put it on there, 1 gigabyte, but you begin to expand, and then your data begins to get more and more. From 1 gigabyte, it goes to 10 gigabyte, then 100, then 1 terabyte. You can easily scale up in the cloud. So you don't need to do anything extra. All you just need to do is, okay, fine, you put your data there, and then you pay for what you use. It's as simple as that. You don't need to do anything extra. But if it were to be on premise, what's going to happen is that you'll have to buy more storage capacity. Then the problem with getting people to also maintain the servers, so it's a lot of problem trying to scale up if you are actually trying to do it yourself. But if you are taking the benefit of cloud storage, it's very easy. You don't even need to do anything. You just put your data there and it scales up. There's a limit, though. We'll come to that. There's some of them they don't have a limit, but it's not usually a problem. Another thing is is security. I guess you've discussed it previously, and you can see when you are taking advantage of the cloud, there are a lot of security steps that you can make use of to make sure that your data is actually secure in the cloud. Then I think you've talked about backup and disaster recovery. All of these things, you can imagine if, for example, you you have your maybe you want to watch a movie, for example, and you go to your friend's place to get a movie in a USB stick, in the USB drive. On your way back home, it starts raining heavily, and then you get really soaked, and the USB stick also gets wet, and what damages the USB stick. Mm. The data that you want to get, is damaged. How do you recover it? That means you need to get another USB stick, then you go back to your friend's place and then get the video again. However, in the cloud, if you have your data, like for example, Julia that uses Google Drive, for example, I mean, if you don't even need to go to your friend's place, you can just, or you can just tell him to send it to you, and or you go to your friend's place, you get the video, and then you put the video in your Google Drive, you upload it to your Google Drive, and once you upload it to your Google Drive, even on your way home, if you get soaked, I mean your data is still in the cloud. It is not damaged. So you still get home and then you are still able to access your information. So these are a few of the advantages of using the cloud storage. All of these, I'm just using this example of Google Drive because that's what we are familiar with. But all of these also translates to the cloud storage for the business side and for the developers. So talking about cloud storage, there are different types of cloud storage. There are different types, but we'll talk about mainly these three types. There is object storage, there's the block storage, and there's the file storage. And it has to do with a few things. They do have few features and uses as well, but mainly about how they actually stored, how the data is stored in this storage. For example, in block storage, the data is stored as fixed block size, is stored as fixed. That's how it's stored. But file storage is like the folder structure that you have on your laptop. If you go onto your laptop and you open your laptop, just the way you have the folders, that's exactly what file storage is. And object storage is a bit different because you have objects are stored there. They are stored as objects, and they do have some additional information that is added to them. So this is just a table showing the different storage classes, how their description, and then the use cases. One I just want to talk about is the object storage because that's the one we're going to call on today, and we're actually going to do hands-on. Probably you must have heard about AWS S3. So it's a type of object storage. That's for AWS. There are other cloud providers, as you must be aware now. There is Microsoft and there is Google. Those are the three main cloud providers, and they all have object storage. They have file storage and they have block storage. But we are going to be focusing on AWS to do the hands-on, and in AWS, the object storage is S3. Yeah, so let's just leave it at that. Just know, I think for now, just be aware that you also have other storage type like file storage and then the block storage. Yes, so this is like different types under the different subtypes under the different storage options. Yeah, I won't go too much into this. Yes, I think yeah, I'll just talk about the S3. So yeah, it's highly scalable. It's used a lot for static web hosting. Static web hosting is just a website that the data information there doesn't change. It doesn't change. It just is there. It's static. So that's what static web hosting is. And it's a very cheap way of hosting your website. If you have a website that you actually want to host, AWS S3, very easy. You can do that in a few seconds. And we're actually going to demo that today. So some essentials to know for S3. Yeah, to get started, you have to create a bucket. It's called a bucket. The bucket is a container for the objects. And when you go to S3, it looks like a folder structure, but they are actually objects. And it's just like it's a flat. Just imagine you have a flat surface and you just keep putting things on top of it. So that's how S3, that's how object storage works. So, but just to make it visually appealing, it looks like a folder structure. So, but it's an object storage, and you have to create a bucket for the objects. The bucket has a container for the objects. So the buckets will look like folders, but it's a bucket, not a folder. And one thing to note, every bucket must have a unique name, like globally. There cannot be any two buckets with the same name globally. So that's one thing to note. Then you can store as much information as you want on S3. However, it's important to note that there is a maximum for the S3 bucket. So the maximum is 5 terabytes, and 5 terabytes is like 5,000 gigabytes. Then you must have been hearing about this again and again. I think it's very important to start getting yourself in the mindset of security first. And that's making sure that only the people that need to access a data or information are able to access it. And you must have heard a lot about policies and store permissions. So it's nothing to be scared or worried about. It's just getting familiar with it. It's very simple and straightforward. So, but access control just means that you are giving access to the only either maybe person or application that needs to access that information. So that's what it is essentially. Now, in terms of features, you must have probably maybe not, but there is what they call 11 nines durability. That means that S3 has been designed to provide 99.9999 up to 11 times percent durability. What exactly does this translate to? What this means is that if you have 10 billion uh, objects, if you put 10 million objects in S3, only one is going to get lost. That's what this means. So you can imagine how durable S3 is. That means like the chances of your data getting lost is very, it's more like it's non-existent. And in terms of availability, it's 99.99% available. What does that mean? That means that in the whole year, that the only downtime, the maximum, not even the maximum downtime that that you can have on S3 is 52 minutes. And you can imagine how many minutes are there in a year. If you can calculate it if you want, but yeah, again, it's quite a lot. So the only downtime means that when maybe you cannot access the information on the data there, the only downtime is 52 minutes, less than an hour in the whole year. So it's very available. And in terms of scalability, we talked about that, highly scalable, has a maximum of 5 terabytes. Yeah, has many security features as well. It's cost effective. It's cost effective because it has different storage classes. And yeah, it's got different storage classes. I think just look at it, look at this as that there are some data that you want to access maybe every day. So those usually, are in S3 standard. But there are some data that you don't want to access them every day. Maybe just once in a while. I mean, just maybe once a week or once in 2 weeks. So those will fit under the category under the storage class standard IA. And what does IA means? It means infrequent access. That's what it means. So, and one zone as well, one zone infrequent access, maybe a data that you just want to keep separately and you don't access it that much. So that's what one zone infrequent access is. Intelligence tiering is you don't really want to be the one saying that you want a storage class for your data. You want the system to decide, okay, just decide. I mean, look at how frequently I access my data and just put it in a class. If I'm accessing it too much, then put it in standard, S3 standard. If I'm not accessing it that much, I mean, move it to standard infrequent access. If I'm not accessing it at all, then take it to Glaciers or Glacier Deep Dive. And Glacier is just a storage class where for data where you do not access for maybe let's say once in a year, like you don't access it at all. Maybe you only need it for for maybe for example, so there's some information, if you go to some website, they'll tell you that can we keep your data? And it's okay, yeah, keep your data. And let's say you now go back after like 6 months and say, see, okay, my data, I want my data, give me my data. So those kind of things, all some other examples like that. And Glacier Deep Archive is even like data that you don't access, maybe once in 10 years, you don't access it. For example, maybe let's say Netflix, there are some movies that been done several, maybe like let's say movies that they showed maybe let's say 10 years ago. I mean, nobody will be watching those movies now. They don't have to keep it, you know, they don't have to keep it somewhere that people can access readily. So they can keep it maybe somewhere like in Glacier Deep Archive. If somebody needs it, then they can then bring it up. So that's the thing about the storage classes. Yes. It's demo time. I hope you guys have your AWS account. Is there anybody that doesn't have an account? Anybody struggling with that? All right. So what we're going to be demoing is we are going to host a static website on AWS S3. And yeah, we host a static website. We're going to make it publicly available and we'll be able to access it. And then, yeah, we'll do that. So let me bring this in. Let me make this a bit bigger so that everybody can see. All right. So yeah, you can ignore this. This is some project I was working on. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is let me first let me get to all services of everybody now. So when you log into your account, it takes you to to the home, and you can see you can see you can click on services here, and you can also see search bar here, this search icon. So you can go on there to search for any service you want to search for. So we want to use AWS S3, so I can just come in here and then click on or type S3, and then it gives you different options that you can then go on to. So I click on S3, and then open in a new tab. So yeah, so that's how I got here. So it brings you here, and you can see here you can see this orange button, create bucket. So if you click on that, if you click on create bucket, then it brings you here where you can type in some information about the bucket that you want to create. So let me name this yeah, test. For example, if I name it test, let me just name it test. Let's see. If I name it test, and then there are some things that we need to do. Yeah, we want to make it public. So I will uncheck this, because if we leave this, then we cannot make it public. We can still do it. We can go to the S3 bucket and do the settings, but we can as well do it here. So we check this so that we can make it public, because we want to make it a static website that we can access and share with people. And then yeah, you need to acknowledge, because it tells you, it gives you a warning that if you turn off block all public access, it might result in the bucket, in this bucket and the objects within becoming public. Yes, which is what we want. So we acknowledge that, then yeah, so test, and then we have to do this as well. ACL, make it enabled. So those two things, ACL is enabled, and then uncheck this. All right, so we can leave every other thing as default. We don't need to change other things. These are things that we're going to deep dive in, but not now. Now we're just going through the basics. Then create bucket. So you can see that the bucket is not creating because it says the name already exists. So because the name exists already, and if you remember, if I go back, let me open this in a new bucket, in the new tab. I don't have any bucket name test here. Yes, because somebody somewhere has a bucket name test. So that's why it won't allow me to name my bucket test. So I need to give it another name. Maybe you can put some random numbers in front of it. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, you see, that name already exists as well. Let me put some letters. AZ. Okay. So so let me go over it again. You give your bucket a name, then you select this, ACL is enabled, and then uncheck this so that we can make it accessible publicly. So, and then we click on create bucket. Yes, so this is the bucket we just created, and you can see we have our bucket here. You can see created this date and time. So we come to the bucket, it's empty, but our plan is to use the bucket as a static website. So what we need to do is we need to get a file called, like an HTML file. Is just a file that you write web content. You want to display things as a web page. So I need to write in an HTML file, and I have one here. Yeah, it's just one I'm going to copy and paste. So I'll upload that. Upload file index. Let me show you the content of the index.html file. It's just HTML content. If it's just a second, I'll bring it up now. So index. Uh, um, let me search for it. Okay. Okay, so yeah. I'll just show you here. I cannot. Seems I cannot show you, but I will share the content. If you, I will share the content of the index.html file with you. Yeah, it's just a web page just to show. And once we display the web page, you guys will see the content of the index.html. It's just a picture that is in there, just a picture, just to actually like show the demo that we are actually doing. All right, so index.html, I'll upload that, and that shouldn't take long to upload. Once we've done that, then we can click on the file, and you can see here we have a link. We have the object URL. This is a link to the web page. This is a link that we can access and share with anybody. So if I click on this, yeah, but you see, we have a problem. It says access denied. Access denied because there's still something more. We have to do something more. Yeah. So, but before we do something more, let's try something. So you can see if you come, let's go again. If you go under the bucket, then you click on the bucket name, then index.html, you come to the index.html file, and you go to this tab here, object actions. Under the object actions, you can see different options there. Okay. So you've got different options, and you see these options share with a presign URL. That means I'm going to share it, but with a presign URL. Presign URL will make it accessible, but it will give it a limit. So let's see what the options are. You can see now it has their limit. So you decide how long do you want this URL to be accessible. So if I say 2 minutes, for example, and I create this, so I'll send this in the chat and you guys can access it if you are just watching. I'm looking for the charts. Okay, yeah, found it. So oh, it's too long. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I will send it on the WhatsApp group so you guys can access it there. Are you all on the February 2024 STAWS DevOps webinar group, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was saying it's a very long link, but we'll see how we can actually overcome this. So first, let me actually even paste it here. Let me paste it here to see if I can even access it. Yes, so you can see it. Yeah. Help. Yeah, so you can see this is the web page. This is what my index.html contains. Just a cute cat, picture of a cute cat. Yeah, so I've sent it on the group. You can try to access it. And I did a presign URL just with 2 minutes. So if I keep refreshing this, okay, it's still accessible. If you wait for 2 minutes, we'll realize that we'll not be able to access it anymore because the duration in which we can access it is just 2 minutes. After that, we will not be able to access it. All right, maybe we'll come back to that. So there's the option of going back there and then click on object actions, share with the presign URL. If you want to share with more time, then you can change it to hours, and you can see it says must be a whole number between 1 and 12. That means the maximum duration you can share it with is 12 hours. However, you can actually create a presign URL with more duration, up to 7 days, but that's actually using code, not doing it on the console. But if you doing it on the console, the maximum duration that one can create a precise URL for is 12 hours. So yeah, you can do that. If I put in 3 hours and then create this. So let me see, is this still accessible? Oh yeah, so you see now, 2 minutes has elapsed, and then we cannot access the link anymore. But this new link, if I paste it here, you'll be able to access this. So let me paste this here now, because it's going to generate some new security token. You can see in front of this, there are some, some long text there. It's just a way to say, see, they give access to this content on S3 for this amount of time. So this will actually last 3 hours. Okay, all right. But we don't want to do that. You can see that it's even kind of, it's not pretty. It's not pretty to the eye sending links like this. So what can we do? What we wanted to do is, what we want is this object URL. We should be able to copy it and paste it in the link and be able to access the same page, but we still get access denied. So how can we overcome this? What we can do is we can go back there, then go on to, if you go to properties, and you scroll all the way down. Is it in properties? I think it's in second. Okay, yeah, no, not property, the buckets. Yeah. So if you go to the bucket and then you go to properties, so you have to go to the bucket, not the file. So you go to the bucket, click on properties tab, and you scroll all the way down. You'll see here, it says static website hosting. You can see, it says here, it's disabled, right? But we want to enable it. So you click on edit and then enable. And then here you need to specify the index document. And we know our index document is index.html. Yes, so I think that's all we need to do here, and then we save the changes. Okay, so let's go back and then see if we can access our website now. So we click on this again. We copy this, a new tab, paste this. We still can't access. Okay, so we still need to do one more thing. I promise you, this is the final thing we need to do. Final thing. So you need to go to the bucket again. You click on index.html. Now you go to the file, and then you click on object actions, and you come down here to the very last bit, and you make public using ACL. So you click on this, and then we make public because we actually want to make it public. So yes. So let's go on. Let's try to click on it again. Let's close this. Let's try to access that site again. And voila, you see, we've got our website, static website. So this is one of the very use cases of S3. And you can see we've started playing around, creating buckets, putting files in the bucket, and now we are even hosting a static website. And to tell you how important this is, I went for an interview where one of the questions I was asked was to create a static website using S3. So this, you shouldn't take it lightly, because this is something that can come in handy for you, down the line. So it's quite a very fundamental thing to do, but it's quite important to to be able to do these things. Yeah, so I think yeah, was anybody following along? Hello, guys. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I
Hi.
mean, yeah, are we following? Was anybody, following or doing the demo along with me? Uh, okay, maybe not really. It's okay. I mean, you can, yeah, okay, yeah. Julia says she would try her own later. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's also, yeah, a good approach as well, just to see how it's done, and then you can go back, watch the video and try to actually get hands-on and do the stuffs yourself. It's quite important to try to get hands-on. It helps to consolidate the knowledge. And once you start getting hands-on, it might look very easy now, maybe the way I'm doing it might look very easy, but you realize that when you start doing it yourself, then you begin to like, man, this thing is not this easy. What happened? What did Ibrahim do? How did Ibrahim do that? So, but that's the advantage of the video. The video is there for you to be able to go back, rewind, pause, play, pause, rewind, pause, play, and see how it was done. So yes, please, 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 I would encourage you to try to get hands-on. Yeah, but yeah, aside that, I mean, regarding the cloud storage, do you think, I mean, everything I've been saying, does it make sense? Do you just to get some feedback from you guys? I know, yeah, probably you're tired. Today is Friday, and yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, we are following.
Okay,
Yeah, I have a question.
okay, yeah, please.
Yeah, so with the static websites you hosted,
Yeah,
is there a way, or I don't know whether it applies to this lesson, but is there a way the link is made more, shorter or more readable? Because most sites I see hosted on AWS don't come out with such lengthy links.
a very good question. That's an excellent question. Yes. So, um, there's a way to do that. We If we're going to do the demo, it might take a bit more, and I think we would need to do some things that might, cost you money, and we don't want you to spend any money. Yeah, but I'll explain to you how you can do it. And actually, during the course, during the boot camp, we're going to deep dive and talk about how we are actually going to do that exactly. So we're going to do that exactly. But that's a very excellent question. We I'll talk a bit about that in the second part of the lecture, where we talk about the content delivery, and yeah, I'll explain some things, some concept that might be useful, and then we can talk about around theory. Yeah, but yeah, there is no, okay. Let's take a break now. When we come back, then I'll talk about the services that we can actually use to do what you mentioned. So yeah, let me even see. Maybe I have it here. Yes, and please always remember, make sure you delete your resources. Yeah, I'm saying this because I've been a victim, and I don't want you to be a victim like me. So I don't want you to wake up one day and just like, oh, what? $1,000? No. All right. Yes. Yeah. So we'll talk about this next. Then I'll also mention, about what you talked about. Um, yeah, let's take 5 minutes break now. We'll come back when it's yeah, in 5 minutes, and then we'll try to quickly go through the content delivery part and we round this up. Okay, so now on to the second part. This concept we're about to talk about is quite important. It's one that a lot of companies use to optimize the performance of their website. So it might look, simple, but I think it's one that it's very, you know, it's, it's like the foundation of improving a lot of performance and increasing the speed of delivering content to users. So I think yeah, it's something that we should if you have the chance, if you can try to um yeah, let's try to uh get hands-on with it, and yeah, essentially, yeah, let's follow along. So yeah, I've got a question for you guys. I mean, like if you go to your Facebook, for example, www.facebook.com, your page, Facebook page. Have you ever thought about what happens if you go onto your Facebook page or you go into Instagram? What happens? How exactly does the content come to you? Because it looks like magic, right? So you go on Facebook, then it comes. Have you ever thought about what happens behind the scenes? And you go onto your page, particularly if you have a fast internet, everything just comes so quickly. Where is it coming from? Yeah. So these are things that you as a cloud engineer, you start thinking about, and we're going to go in depth into how exactly this happens. But now we are just going to touch the surface because we cannot go that deep. It takes a lot of time to explain all of the concept. So I've got another question for you guys. Has anyone seen this TV series? Did anybody see this TV series, Squid Game? Anyone? Oh, really? Wow. This this is one of the most watched TV series on Netflix. When this TV series when it was released, I think that was in 2021. Within 1 week, it had already about 17 million subscribers. Within 4 weeks, it had about 175 million people that subscribed to it, and over 1.5 billion viewing hours. So, how do you think Netflix was able to deliver this content to users? Because what that means is you have millions of people all over the world trying to access this on Netflix at the same time. Because this TV series was created for Netflix, right? So everybody was accessing it on Netflix. So how was Netflix able to deliver this to everybody everywhere all over the world without downtime, without issue with lagging? How exactly? Okay, so let's keep those two at the back of our mind. First, let's look at the first question. If you go onto your website, you go to a web browser and you type in a website, let's say, for example, www.example.com, all right? So if you do that, I mean, the page, the content of that website doesn't just come to you directly. Some things happen before the content comes to you. All of these concepts here, all of this that you see is what is called DNS resolution. So www.example.com Once you type that in your web browser, it goes to a server called the DNS server, and it is there that then a number which we call the IP address, we can just call it an ID. Let's just say it's an ID, for the website, is then gotten from the server. And oh, okay, so this is the ID of this server. It then goes to where the web server is, the actual web server. It knows the ID, goes there, and then retrieves the content of the site website, and then displays it to the user. For this DNS server, it's not just direct one way, because for the DNS server, even there are like at least about 3 steps that happens before the actual ID is gotten from there. But we're not going to go into that now. So these are concepts that we're actually going to talk about in the bootcamp and in the course. So this is how you browse the internet. Then you get the content from the web server, right? So yeah, that's exactly what happens. All of these concepts that we see here is what's called DNS resolution. Oh yeah. So now imagine that we have 2 web servers. We've got one in America and we've got one in Asia, right? So you can see this guy, this smiley face, is very close to the server. It's close to the server, and once he types in, maybe let's say his Facebook account, it comes very quickly to him, and that's why he's smiling. But you can see the other, this guy in South America, the guy in Africa, and this guy in Australia, they are not smiling because they are very far away from the server, from the origin server. So when they type in the content, it comes to them, but it doesn't come as quickly as this smiley face that is very close to the server. This is a problem for a lot of companies because companies want to deliver the content to users quickly. Because if users don't get this content quickly, what do? I mean, they just go somewhere else, or they just go. I mean, this is something that probably has happened to you as well. You're trying to access a website and it's not loading quickly. What do? Just open a new tab and you go to another web page. So some people have done some studies and they find out that for some sites like travel sites, retail sites, that just a 0.1 second improvement of the speed of the website increases conversion rate. And what is conversion rate? Conversion rate is just somebody come onto the site and then maybe subscribing, for example, or purchasing something or something like that. So that's what it means. You want, when people come to your site, you want people to engage with the site, and then maybe if it's a retail website, you want people to buy things. If it's a site like Amazon, you want people to buy things, purchase things there. So just not, I think this is like way less than 1 second. This is a tenth of 1 second. An improvement in that increases conversion rate. It shows you how important this concept is and how exactly the companies do this is what is called content delivery network. What is content delivery network? I like to break this down and then take each word and then see what exactly what each word is. So the content is very similar to what we used the other time, like an HTML page, or it could be images or videos or just anything that you're displaying to the users, to be honest. So that's what the content is. The delivery there, what that stands for is HTTP. If you go to your website, you see at the beginning of it is got either HTTPS or HTTP. The network, this is the interesting part. And this is where the fast private network helps to deliver this content so quickly. The network is formed by what they call edge server. There are also servers as well, but it's formed by, just take it as servers. They are formed by computers. So, but they form a private network where communicating between these servers is so fast that it makes delivering content so fast as well. So now we now place these edge servers, close to all these other users, and then you see what happened. They're all smiling because now it doesn't take time for them to get those content back. So this guy that is close to this origin server in North America is smiling fine, but the guy in Africa is smiling as well because there is an edge server very close to him, and he's able to access this content very quickly as also. So this is where the delivery of content becomes important. You want this content to deliver very quickly. And what actually happens is, the content, when it's first accessed by the user, if it is not in the edge server, it goes to the origin server, gets the content, and then saves it in the edge server. So the next time the user is accessing the content from the edge server, it's in there and it just extracts. It doesn't need to go all the way to the origin server. So all of this concept is just about making the delivery of content very fast. If you're going to take just one thing away, just know that aside from the origin servers, you have servers called edge servers that help to make the delivery of content very fast. So yeah, they are called edge servers or edge location. So let's look at this, for example. So this is what happens. This user is trying to get the card picture. So the edge server, the edge location asks, do I have the picture? If the answer is yes, then it returns the card picture that is in the edge location. But if the card is not in the edge location, what happens? It goes to the origin server, which it could be an S3 bucket, it could be a server, it could be, there are different options. So it goes to the origin and then gets the card picture, and then displays it to the user. So if it does that the first time, then subsequently it doesn't need to go to the origin anymore. It just gets the card picture from the edge location and then displays it. So yeah, this is a picture I took today of all the edge locations available on AWS as we speak, as of this morning. So you can see there is edge locations everywhere. And that's why these days you see that delivery of content is so fast. It doesn't matter where the server is. I mean, the people that a lot of companies use this concept called content delivery network, and it makes their website and delivery of content to their users very, very fast. Yeah, so about more than 90% of video is streamed via CDNs. Between 50 to 70% of internet traffic is served via CDN. So what exactly are the benefits of CDN? We've seen latency. That the latency there is just about how long it takes for the user to get the information. And using the CDN, we can see that the user is able to get those information very quickly. So latency is reduced, cost is reduced, load is reduced as well. The load on the back-end server. So you can imagine that the load will be reduced because initially, if there is no CDN, this is what happens. Every user tries to access the origin server. every user, you can see this one is accessing the origin server, this one is accessing, this is also accessing. But if we assume these are the edge servers, edge locations, and it's even closer to the computers that the users are using. So they don't need to access the origin server in the middle anymore. So this one just access this edge location, and then respectively like that. So it makes the load on the back end server, the origin server, less. These are some other advantages of using content delivery. It changes the format of the content to something more optimized that it will be faster and much more able to transport more quicker in the fast network of the content delivery network. Yes, so and there are different most cloud providers have their content delivery network. The one for Amazon, AWS, is Amazon CloudFront. You've got for Microsoft as well, CDN. You've also got some other companies that have content delivery network that people use, a lot of companies use. For example, Cloudflare, Akamai, those are very popular CDN providers. So yes, I think if you get just one thing from this, just at least have the concept that edge locations, they are the core of content delivery networks, and they help to get the content to users quicker. The next is for us to actually demo this, and what we'll be doing is, we'll be using S3 Bucket. We're hosting a static website as well, but this time around, we'll have a CDN in front of the S3 Bucket. And I'm going to show you how important this is. And yeah, you guys will actually see it. And we would all see how useful this can actually be to companies. Okay, yes. Demo time again. All right, so let's do this. So if you are following along, yes. Hello, guys. Are we there?
Yeah.
Are we following? Any questions before we start the demo?
Hello.
Yeah, Sydney, go on.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah,
Which
Gillette.
company has the Akamai? You said the CloudFront is Amazon. Azure is for Microsoft. Which one is Akamai?
Yeah, Akamai is a company on its own. It's not one of the major cloud service providers. So what they do specifically is cloud delivery network. At least that's one of their major services. And yeah, they do provide that to companies, just like Cloudflare as well. Yeah. So, and for Amazon, the CDN network is Amazon CloudFront, which is what we're going to demo now. All right, so let's go on again. Let's start. Let's create a new bucket for this. Let's create a new bucket for this, and I'll name this test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. I hope somebody has not chosen that again. Yeah, okay, I think that's available. So yeah, you need to choose when you are practicing this, when you are getting hands-on with this, you need to choose a bucket name that is different from this, because I've chosen this and this will not be available for you to use. So yeah, just to let you know that. Yeah, so just the bucket name. I think we can leave other things as default. Remember, initially when we hosting the static website, we uncheck this to make it public. But because now we want to use a CloudFront, we can actually leave it. We can leave it, we can block it because we don't want people to access our bucket. As I said initially, always make sure that once anything you're designing, building, security should be one of the things at the forefront. You're thinking about security, access, it's important to get into that mindset. So if we leave it this way, people will not be able to access our bucket directly without going through CloudFront. Yeah, so we can do that. Then I think we can leave every other thing as default. Then we create the bucket. Yeah. Okay, so first step, we create a bucket. Then the next step is we can go to CloudFront. And so, as I said, you can just go on here, CloudFront, and then it comes, you can click on this. Yeah, so what you need to do is then you create a distribution. If you are accessing it for the first time, you might not see it like this. It might not come this way to you. So you just click on the button where you see create distribution. Samba, you wanted to say something?
Hey.
CloudFront, we should create a CloudFront distribution, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So you go to CloudFront.
Yes.
Then you'll see a link, a button, create distribution.
CloudFront distribution. All right. Okay.
Somebody want to say something?
Oh, yeah, I just stepped in. I was in a meeting. I just said, let me check out if the session is still ongoing. Hey guys, congratulations. You hang on to the last day. Let me see those we have here. Juliet, congratulations. Jean, congratulations. We have Juliet. Are you having two devices, or we have two persons with the name Juliet?
We have two Juliets there.
Okay, yes, great. Then Sydney and Uche. Awesome. Yeah, Uche, I think Uche should be the businessman from Nigeria, if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong. Uche, is that correct?
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I expected the number to be this way. From the start, there's going to be a lot of excitement, and then a few persons will be committed, till the end. And that's what it takes. So I'll be stepping into another meeting. Just came around to encourage you guys and to say that those of you who are here, I've taken a screenshot. Just give me 1 second. I've taken a screenshot of this. There's going to be a special discount for those of you who want to enroll for the bootcamp. I'll not declare how much percentage discount is going to be, but it's just going to be for those who are here. So if you are looking forward to enrolling in a bootcamp, which starts on the 6th of March, you should get to me in the next 24 hours. You have my contact there on the WhatsApp. Just get to me, and then let's discuss about it. Alrighty. Everyone, enjoy your session. Back to you, Doc.
All right, thank you, Samba. All right, see you. Oh, okay. Okay, so yes, where were we? We're creating a distribution. So you go to CloudFront, create distribution. Then you can see we have quite a number of options here. What we need to do is if you click on this place, it will bring the different examples or different options of origin. And again, for me, even the available ones are the buckets I created in Amazon S3. And the one I created for the CloudFront is this one. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABCDE. So you click on that. You click on the bucket that you. So that will be the origin, for the edge location. That will be the origin. So we've defined that. The next thing is we go down, and then you can see here where it says origin access. Origin access, remember that we did not make our S3 bucket public. So if we want to, if we make our origin, if we make our S3 bucket public, then we can select public here. But because we didn't make it public, so we need to, we need to do the access control settings, which is what is recommended. You can see what is recommended. Usually when you see what is recommended, that means even AWS is telling you that, see, this is probably best in terms of, it might be in terms of cost, it might be in terms of security, it might be in terms of scalability, but it's telling you that, see, this is the best option. So we select that, then you need to then create an origin access control. For you, most likely when you click on this, there won't be anything. So, but what you need to do, is just to click on this button here, create new origin access control. When you click on this, automatically the access control will be created for us. So you click on this, and then you can see it brings me to this interface. And again, you can see again, sign request recommended. So let's just leave the settings as default without touching anything. We then click on create. So that would create the origin access control. Now you can see a warning here, or like it's telling us it's giving us an information. So it says you must update the S3 bucket policy. And it says CloudFront will provide you with a policy statement after creating the distribution. So after we create the distribution, it will give us, there will be an information, a policy that we are going to use. Yeah, so I think we can leave every other thing as default. We just scroll down, leave every other thing as default. Don't touch anything. Just go down, down, down. Here we can say we don't want to enable security protection. Let's yeah, so that we don't complicate it. That might be going too deep. So let's just leave that as that. Here, just let's leave this. Use all edge locations, because that's what we want, right? We want to use everywhere so that anybody anywhere accessing our website will it should be so quick to actually access our website. Let me see. So yes, once we've done all these, I think we can then go on from there. So you can click on create distribution now. Create distribution. Yes, I remember it gave us an information about S3 bucket policy that we needed to update. So I told us that it was going to give us the policy after we create the distribution, and that's what is done exactly. So you can see here we have the policy. We can just click on this to copy the policy. So if we click on this icon here, this copy policy, to copy the policy, you can see policy statement copy. The next thing is we need to go to S3 to then put the policy there, so that we are going to give CloudFront the access to be able to access the S3 buckets that we created. Remember, we blocked all public access. So we need policies to be able to give, maybe allow or deny access to a particular resource or service. So you can see here, there is go to S3 bucket permissions to update policy. So you can just click on that. You can see, it's even making everything so easy for us to do. So you can just click on this, and this is opening a new tab, and it takes you directly to where you're supposed to put the policy. So permissions, okay? So if you want, you can go back to S3 buckets and then look for the bucket you created and then look for permission. But I think it's just quite easy to just click on that link and it brings you directly here. So what we need to do is we go on that. You can see block all public access is still on. So, but what we need to do is to come here. You can see bucket policy. I'm sure you might have done something very similar to this previously when you talked about security. Yeah, so, but you come here and you click on edit. And then remember what we copied, you then paste it here. Now, I remember when I started working with cloud services, and I was seeing policies like this. I know how, like, oh man, this is crazy. Can I ever get to understand this at all? But these are some of the things that we're actually going to break down for you in the course, in the bootcamp, and we're going to make it so easy that to be straightforward. You'll be able to interpret any policy you see at all. What this is doing essentially is it is giving, you can see here, just to give you a little bit of information, you can see here effect, it says here allow. So it's allowing the CloudFront to access this bucket that we created. That's all this is doing, nothing more. And once you've done that, then you come to save changes. You click on save changes. All right. So we've done that. Then I think now we need to go back to CloudFront. I think there's a step I missed. Let me see. Edits. Yeah, we can do this. Let me see. Default root object. Yeah. So you can do this when you go to your distribution. It's still creating it. You can see it's still deploying. But while we are waiting for it to finish deploying, click on the distribution you created. You click on it. Then you see general. Under general, you scroll down and you see edit settings. You click on edit settings. And then default root objects. Here we want to state what is the default root object. And we know that for our S3 bucket, our default root object will be index.html. So here we just state the name there. That means that when we go to the CloudFront website, it goes to this file, to access the information then. So you save the changes. I think there's still something we've not done. We've not uploaded the file. Yeah, I can actually let me see. Yeah, let me copy and paste it so that if you're actually doing the demo along with me, you can use the file. So all you need to do, let me see, I should be able to upload a file here. Okay, yeah, that's what I'll just do. Let me just upload the file actually. Just a second. So download this. Replace. I want to send the files to you guys in the chat so that you can also use it. Okay. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I've sent the index.html file in the Zoom chat. So you can download it. You can use it as you like. Yes, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload that index.html file here. You can see this is empty. There's nothing here. So I'll click on upload, add files, then index. Come on, what's this? Oh, yeah. You can just do a drag and drop actually. So you can click on add file.
Hello, sir. Can you put it in WhatsApp? Because I don't think I will move it on my phone.
Okay. I'll put it on WhatsApp now. Yes. So once you have that, you can upload it on the S3. It's on WhatsApp now. Can you see it? Did you get it?
Yes, I want to move it on my Gmail so I can put it on my system. Okay.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now let me know if you have any issues getting it. All right. So index.html, we have that here. Then I upload it. And that's done. So let's go back to CloudFront. Let's see. So you notice initially in the last modifier, it was saying deploying. That means wasn't ready yet. Once you see that the date and time is there, then that means that our CloudFront is ready. So with all we've done now, I think we should be able to access our CloudFront. Let's see. So if you click on the CloudFront, and then you see distribution domain name. So this is where you want to come, the distribution domain name. And you copy this, and then you go on to paste it in the browser. You can see we have our CuteCat, our website. So now what we've been able to build is we're able to build our website again, but now we are now using CloudFront to actually show you the power of the CloudFront. Let me see if I'm able to do this. Yeah, go on.
Okay, I've put it on my system. So what's the next thing? Am I taking it to S3?
Yes, you upload it in the S3 buckets.
The bucket.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I'm able to do this. What I want to try to do is to show you how the speed. We use CloudFront, and if you do not use CloudFront. So I'll come to this website. Let me try to put this side by side.
So, sorry, I've already uploaded it, so I should just upload again. I should upload it to S3 buckets.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
I should upload it to S3 bucket. I should upload the index direction to S3 bucket.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
okay, I've
want
uploaded.
to try.
Sorry. I just want to get. I've uploaded.
Okay.
So what's the next? Should I go back to the CloudFront?
Yes. I think yeah, it's like I'm a bit ahead.
Yes,
Have you created the CloudFront?
Yes, I've done that.
Okay.
I've done the CloudFront. Yes, I was following you.
Okay. Okay. If you've done that, then you go back to the CloudFront, and
Yes.
then let me show you where you go to. So if you go back to the CloudFront, and then you should have something like this distribution. You click on the ID, and then what you need is the domain name. This one.
Yes,
here.
I've clicked on the ID. But
Yeah.
it's
So
still, let me say,
the first thing you should confirm is, can you confirm, is it saying modifying, or does it show the date and time?
It said enabled, and it said status enabled, then date February 9.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that means it should be ready. So
Yeah,
if you
ready.
click on the ID, if you click on this, and then you go to the domain name.
Okay, that's Z whatever CloudFront. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then paste it in the browser and then see if you're able to access it.
No, I did not.
What?
I have to go back to my S3. I don't have access.
Okay.
Access denied.
Okay. Did you do this with me when I went to the settings here?
And
Edit.
okay,
edit.
no, I did not. On the CloudFront, right?
Yes. So if you go to edit settings, if you go to edit settings, you come to the distribution ID. You see this general tab here. There's a general tab here. Yeah. Then you see settings.
Okay.
Then click on edit.
All right.
Yeah. Then you see here where you see default root objects.
Default.
Here.
I've put it index.html.
Okay, you've done that.
I did it. Yes, I did it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
What is showing me is like where it used to show in S3, where you don't have access, where you need to enable the bucket policy.
What about the policy? Did you copy the policy?
I did.
Okay, and you okay. Yeah, I guess yeah, you followed all the steps you're supposed to follow. I might not be able to say by something, it might be something maybe, we can have a look. Maybe after we just round up, we'll soon finish it, but we can have a look and go through it together. How about that? And see maybe
Okay.
where the problem is.
No problem.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So what I wanted to do is to show you, the power of CloudFront. So what this site does is that it looks at when you put in a website, the website is from a specific, it has a specific server. For example, mine now, I created my I created my bucket in US. So it's in US East. Fine. So what it's going to do is it's going to try to access the website from different locations and then tell us how long it takes that it will take a user. If a user from that location is trying to access the website, how long it will take the user to be able to get the content from that website. So that's what this does. So let's say let's use the one we created initially, the S3. I'm trying to get the S3 buckets, the static one, the one we did without the CloudFront. Let me get that first. Index.html. Yeah, so this one. So this websites, yes. So we are checking. No, is this one? Oh yeah, this is it. So let's paste this here and let's see how long it takes. Okay, so we can see. Let me make this bigger. You can see that this URL, the origin is in the United States. Okay, so someone from Frankfurt in Germany, see how long it takes for the person to get content from the website. Someone in Amsterdam, see, it takes 360 milliseconds. And someone in New York, because New York is in United States, so it takes shorter, 64 milliseconds. But you can see someone in Sydney, in Australia, far, the other end of the world. You can see it takes 1.03 seconds. It might seem like, oh, it's just 1 second. But remember, we saw that even 0.1 second increase in a mobile website speed actually increases the conversion rate. And you can see someone from Bangalore, it takes 991, 0.8, that's almost 1 second. So, but because New York is in the United States and the server is in the United States, so it takes 64 milliseconds. It's very fast. But look at these are the other users. Remember the picture we saw, the other users in other places. These are the other users that are not smiling. They are not smiling because it's taking long for them to access the website. But this guy in New York, because he is very close to the server, it takes 64 milliseconds to access the website, so fast. So this is, and if we do this again, if we test this again, it's still the same thing because this is a static website that we created without the CloudFront. You can see almost about 1 second. Bangalore is now over 1 second. And you can see, from London, it's even taking almost half a second. So New York is still, the shortest because it's very close to the server. If we test it again, it will still be the same thing. You see, that the time it takes will still be the same thing because it's going all the way to the origin server to get the content. You can see Singapore is taking 1.25 seconds. That's a lot of time in terms of wanting to deliver content. All right. So now let's look at the site we created using CloudFront, right? Let me see if I can get that. I think it's this one. Yes. So, yeah. All right. So this is it. Now, let's take this. Let's now take this, and then let's test the CloudFront and see. We can see that using a CloudFront, you can see that, the very first time it's taking about, about the same amount of time. You can see Singapore is taking over 1 second. Sydney and Bangalore are taking about 1 second as well. But again, New York is the shortest. It's taking 91.4 milliseconds. And remember that this is the first time. So let's see what happens when we test again. Look at this very well. Look at this very well. Let me want to see if I can take a screenshot. So let's test this again. Now, what do you notice? Did anybody notice anything? Did anybody notice anything? Hello?
The time for speaking has reduced.
Yeah, exactly. You can see that. Let me put this side by side, even with the static website that we have. Yes, this one and this. So this was taking about half a second, but see what's taking now? 20.85 milliseconds. And you can just compare the values and you see that even someone in Bangalore that was taking about 1 second to access the website, now what's it taking? 51.58 milliseconds. And look at someone in Sydney was taking 1 second, about 1 second to access the website. It's taking what now? 82.75 milliseconds. And look at someone in Singapore. 1.25 seconds. That's too much. That's a lot. And see, with CloudFront, what happens? 17.14 milliseconds. And with this, what happens? Everybody, all the users, anywhere they are in the world, are happy because everybody is able to access the website quickly. And that is the power of CloudFront. So, I think, yeah, that was me sweating during this demo. But yeah, we got through. I think that's all from me. To mention quickly about what you asked, Sydney. Now, rightly, I mean, this doesn't look nice. Let me paste this in the chat. So that's for. Let me paste this performance to website as well. In case when you do it and you want to test, as well, you can do it. Then it's free. You don't even need to log in or register. And this is the CloudFront. Yeah. So you can see that the website doesn't look nice. If I want to send this to, let's say, someone that wants to invest in my company, for example. Yeah, it shows the website, but it doesn't make sense showing, like D32334. My company should have a name, and it will make more sense to have www.brian.com or something like that instead of D32. So that is where Route 53 comes in. That's where Route 53 comes in. And what that does is, with Route 53, we're able to, in front of this CloudFront, the link that you see, we're then able to put website or names that are pleasing to the eye, that are, more human readable, like let's say www.ibrahim.com. So when we put that, we put that in front of the CloudFront, and then if anybody accesses www.ibrahim.com, remember in the beginning we talked about the DNS server when we were talking about what happens if you actually go to a website. So that's what happens. Then the DNS server resolves www.ibrahim.com. After a number of steps, it resolves it eventually to this CloudFront, and then we are able to then get the content from the CloudFront back to the user, and then this is displayed to the user. So, and to use this, you also need what's called certificate manager. Certificate manager just helps to be able to get your website and having it as HTTPS. So that's also, these are concepts that we're going to delve in deep in the course and talk about more. Yeah, but it's beyond the scope of this webinar. But yeah, that's just to answer your question in theory, Sydney. And yeah, so, and just to go back to when we started, we're talking about how Netflix was able to serve 173 million people, the same movie within a space of a few weeks. This is it. But they, instead of using providers like this, they actually built their own cloud delivery network. You can check, it's called Netflix Open Connect. And that's how Netflix is able to serve loads and loads of people streaming videos on Netflix without that break or lagging or stuff like that. So with using the power of services and tools like this. Yeah. So have we got any questions? Any questions? Hello, guys.
No chance, bro.
Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah. And yeah, Juliet, if you want, we can have a look at the stuff. If you've not been able to do it, we can have a look. Yeah, that's the end of the session. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. I hope you've been able to pick one or two things. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the webinar series. This is just a tip of the iceberg of what to expect in the bootcamp and the course. Juliet, do you want us to have a look at the?
Yes, I will. I'm trying to change my.
I'm going to
Just
stop.
hold on.
I'm going to stop recording now. And please don't forget to delete your resources.